What's up, Triangle Lax fans and North Carolina Lax fans in general? This is Damian Hall with Triangle Lax, and we're going to spend a good bit of time here talking about the boys' NCHSAA last week of season implications and playoff brackets. For those of you that don't know, the NCHSAA has a predetermined bracket structure in which certain conferences are lined against one another and wildcards fill in the rest. For this particular video, we are going to be going over the boys 4A bracket. The boys 4A consists of conferences 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 from the East, and from the West, conferences 10, 11, 13, and 15. Overall, the East has a total of 6 wild cards, and the West has a total of 9. Starting off with Conference 1, we head out to the beach. In Conference 1, Hoggard is the clear runaway, having swept the entire conference easily. Laney is the clear second, and Ashley could win a wild card. Moving over to Conference 2, New Bern won the conference anyway, but they are the only 4A team in the conference, and as such will take the conference's only automatic qualifier. That brings us to Conference 3. Wakefield swept the league, most likely, as they have a couple games left this season, but should be the clear number 1 going into playoffs. Heritage is the overall second seed, assuming they don't trip up over a couple of games this week as well. Wake Forest is third in the conference, but they'll need to do some work and beat non-conference opponent Millbrook to bolster their resume if they want to receive a wild card. In Conference 4, Cardinal Gibbons is the clear number 1 going into get battle tested in Maryland before playoffs. Leesville Road and Broughton have split for number 2. This will come down to a coin flip unless Leesville Road agrees to a tiebreaker game in order to figure out who actually gets the number 2 seed. The loser will likely face Jordan or Wakefield. Moving on to Conference 5, this is one of the most clear-cut 1-2s. Middle Creek swept the conference and will try to make its third consecutive run at championship weekend, will be the number 1. Apex is the number 2, having only lost to Middle Creek. Holly Springs and Apex Friendship are going to have to coin toss for the number 3 spot. Both of those teams have a very good chance of getting as a wild card. It will kind of just be a question of where they fall. Fuquay Varina could bolster their resume with wins over Chapel Hill and or Northwood to get to the 500 mark and a wild card opportunity. Conference 6. Jordan has locked in the number 1, barring an upset against Greenhope later this week. Athens is the number 2, but has 2 upset possibilities against Pinecrest, which was a 2-point win earlier in the year, and Greenhope, a 4-point win. Third place in the conference is Panther Creek, which can make a strong wildcard candidate, especially if they beat Millbrook, Holly Springs, and Pinecrest in the final week of season. Pinecrest can make a wildcard run with 3 wins against Athens, Ashboro, and Panther Creek. Jack Britt finished 8-7 overall and is a wild-card long shot as a 4 seed, but with opportunities to move up if other teams fall back. So here is a look at our prediction before the end of the last week starts for how the East and its wild cards could fall out. Moving into the West, we are going to start with Conference 10. Now, while Northwest Guilford did sweep the season series versus Page, Page will get the conference's number 1 playoff seed as the conference tournament championship. Northwest Guilford will get the number 2 seed as the runner-up and the regular season champ. Ragsdale finished 4th but has a winning record. Grimsley is 3rd but sits at 5-11. Always interesting to see how the selection committee will deal with those kind of situations. Both have an opportunity to be wild card selections with so many opportunities in the West. Moving on to Conference 11, we have a clear winner of R.J. Reynolds, who swept the conference for first place. Ronald Reagan is number 2. East Forsyth, West Forsyth, and Davie all have winning records, but Davie is probably left out of the wild card race as a fifth place team. Moving on to Conference 13, this is an easy one also. Lake Norman will take the conference's AQ having swept the conference, and Haw is a locked-in wild card slot as a 12-1 team. We wrap up the West and the 4A with Conference 15. Conference 15 boasts the most exciting final week of season as they hold their conference's championship tournament. Currently, Ardrey Kell has swept the conference and would be the team's number one going into playoffs. However, they only defeated Myers Park by 1 goal, who only defeated Providence by 1 goal. Should either of those two teams win the conference tournament, they would take the number 1 seed going into playoffs, and Ardrey Kell would be relegated to number 2. Be confident that both Myers Park and Providence will find their way into the tournament one way or another. Butler also sits at 8-7, and if it could pull off some upset wins in the tournament, would bolster its wild card options as well. That wraps it up for the West. Here's how we see the Western Conference potentially falling out with wild cards. You'll notice that we do have an opportunity for an Eastern school to slide in as a wild card, as it has a better record if it makes a run.